Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome to an episode of My AI Love Affair. Today I have Dan Martell in the house, who, by the way, is an absolute legend. You have to get his book, How to Buy Back Your Time. It is probably most required for every entrepreneur. It's not how to grow your company, but how to buy back your time as a founder and how to create this business that actually allows you to have freedom, which is why we got into entrepreneurship. We talk about a lot of things and we talk about artificial intelligence, how it's going to change the world. And it was such an important conversation that I thought that it had to be part of two different parts. And today you listen to part one, and next week you listen to part two. It is such a valuable conversation. And by the way, I'm here in New York recording this intro from the Vayner Media Studios. Well, not really the Vayner Media Studios. This is Vayner X in Hudson Yards. But I have to say that this conversation with Dan Martell is absolutely amazing. And if you haven't gotten his book already, you should go get it. Buy back your time. All right, let's learn. Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to this podcast, My AI Love Affair. Consider this podcast your digital compass, guiding you through the labyrinth that is business growth using artificial intelligence. Running a business as a creative can sometimes be like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But what if you had a secret tool that could align all the colors for you? That is AI. It's like a master key unlocking multiple doors. Thanks for being here. Let's learn. Let's talk about artificial intelligence because it's obviously taking over the world. We both have a software background and it becomes kind of easy to talk about some of these things. When you're addressing some of the artificial intelligence questions, what are some of the things that are coming up that are not true? What are some of the things that we're misunderstanding about artificial intelligence?
I've been studying this for close to a decade, back when it was like natural language processing, NLP. I've been working on systems and I've invested in 60 plus companies as a technology entrepreneur. So I've got front row seats to ad platforms and billing systems that all have what today we call AI. So I've seen a lot of even when GPT 3.5 came out and others since then, there's been these leaps that happen, which is the industry we're in. A lot of people think it's going to take over the world. There is a potential that'll happen if it gets to the next level of intelligence. Things that I think people believe that are just not true is that it'll take their jobs. The truth is the jobs of the future, we're already seeing this, is that AI is a co-pilot in everything. I remember I was on a flight recently sitting next to a lawyer. This was probably 6 months ago. And I asked them, I said, "Do you use GPT for your work?" And they're like, "What's that?" It's the AI. It's Chat GPT. And they're like, "Oh, I kind of heard of this." It's like, "I don't think it'll work for me." And I was like, "Why?" And they go, "Well, I do complex commercial leasing agreements." And I was like, "Fascinating." I was on the Wi-Fi on the plane, and I said, "Well, give me an agreement and some complexity." And I pulled up my laptop and I'm on Chat GPT, and I just plug in, act as a lawyer, kind of gave it some prompt data and had asked it to create an agreement. And it started to write it. And the lawyer's eyes almost popped out of his head as he read what was being generated. He couldn't believe it. He even said, that clause is a very advanced thing. How does it know how to do that? And then he goes, "How much does this cost?" And I was like, "It's free." And he's like, "There's no way this is free." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's free." And so I just think it's not going to take people's jobs, but it's definitely going to make people that don't use AI look really inefficient. It's one of those things where AI won't take your job, but people using AI will take your job. And
Mm-hmm.
most people are not disciplined enough on a daily basis to use it. I mean, just recently I was talking to a portfolio company I'm invested in, and they had a job placement for a new sales rep because I worked with them to build a new marketing function that started generating thousands of leads every month. They didn't have enough sales reps to actually field all the requests they were getting. I said, "Okay, we'll put a job posting. It looks like this." And they had no applicants. I think they got 3 over a 3-week period. And I was like, "Show me your job application." So all we did is copied and pasted it on the call into GPT. And I said, "Act as a marketer and an HR professional. rewrite this using desirable language relevant to a new grad. And it wrote back the job placement as if it was like an 8.5 or 9 out of 10 copy, even the title. And then we said, okay, we'll write 5 variations of the job title to use maximum character 80. And it gave us like these 5 high quality job titles. And I'm like, try that. 3 weeks later, they had like 150 applicants. I mean, the opportunity to just make it part of your work. Like I use it every day. And for all my coaching clients, if they don't have access to the APIs, that's a big no-no. So it's like almost like if you work with me, you need to be using AI and you need an API key because a lot of the advanced stuff you guys should be considering, you're going to need that level of volume or feature sets. And yeah, I just think it's a really cool place we're living in where we have a new tool that is providing so much productivity to teams if they use it right.
I feel like the industrial age allowed us to commoditize industry and machines. And then from that, we built computers, and then computers allowed us to create the information age, which commoditized information. And based on those two ages, now we have the intelligence age, which is now going to commoditize intelligence, or already has. I'm keen to hear what you think about for creative people. And it's funny because the most creative of tasks seems to have gone first. Before, we thought copy would go last, and we thought art would go last, and it seems like it's the first to go. How can we start kind of auditing where we can use AI? Because I always think that people already are clued in, but they aren't. But I get the question a lot. I don't even know where to begin. What would you say to those people who are already creative business owners? They're already founders. They have built their business to a certain point, and they're going, "Is this a fad? Should I get involved?"
The answer is it's definitely not a fad. It's gotten good enough that even if you don't build on top of it to create custom solutions within your business, and I recommend, right? Like all of my clients that I coach, just like iPhones or mobile devices was a technology that was not a fad. And if you're not using mobile devices, you're not going to be competitive. If you do not have intelligence and AI incorporated into your solution, or at least how you do things in the back office, you're just not going to be as efficient, right? We literally do trainings for every department from finance to HR, not just marketing and sales, because those are well served, right? There's the tooling and the stuff. And even on the media side, I mean, our video editors, they all use tools that are powered by AI today. But it's the other stuff that I think people miss out on. So like the intelligence era, yes, but I almost look at it as like insights. Like what GPT does better than I could ever do is collect a bunch of information at scale. We're talking like
Hmm.
large data sets, and then summarize and or identify the nuggets of insights within it for me to then make a decision. See, even in this age of AI, I think the most valuable asset is not one of technology, but the creativity to reimagine in what's possible, right? So it's like, it's not the technology, because I think a lot of products right now are trying to just be like AI for stuff. It's
Yeah.
what problems can we now work on, consider solving that otherwise were not possible previously, right? Like there's Instagram was successful because the iPhone, the filter, the geotagging location was part of the iPhone innovation. So now all of a sudden, Instagram can be a massive platform because photos don't require language. That's what people don't understand in social networks. Like Twitter requires localization for me to interact with somebody that doesn't speak my language. A photo is a photo, right? It's the most universal, if you want to call it a language in the world. That's why Instagram took off, but it required the iPhone to go first. So now that we have AI, how do we reimagine what's possible based on the tooling? And I think a lot of it is just playing with it. One of the
Mm.
things we built right when I saw 3.5, I reached out to my data scientist, Andrew, and we built Dan GPT. Like I actually have my own chat GPT for me. And right now it's being used by my whole coaching staff, my support team, my customer success team, some of my clients. We're tweaking it, we're playing with it, we're changing the tonality, we're working on the data sets, cleaning it up. But there's going to be a point as a coach where 80% of the questions will be answered not by me, but by my personal co-pilot slash AI. And then what's cool is that allows me to then reimagine, well, where's my value add as a coach? What What is the specific insights that I'm providing somebody that doesn't need my time to give them forward progression in other areas of their business, so that when I'm working with them, we're really moving the needle and leveraging my time the best. That's
Mm.
the kind of stuff that I think about.
When you were talking, some of the things that I was thinking about was how we've been using it. And it's very similar in the sense that I started with, we both know or used to know Kevin Hutto, and Kevin created this great framework called the Hydra Facebook audience method. It's how you get cold traffic to become warm traffic and then to become hot traffic using Facebook video. So I took the training that him and Taki did. I put that into Claude 2. It was an hour and a half transcript, and asked it to analyze it and then break it down, make it a prompt. And now I can put for anyone, my team, my clients, this is who I am, this is how I help. And he'll spit out the 7 mistakes, the 10 commandments, and the 30 days with their whole script straight like that. And it's all from taking something that already exists. So based on that, what we did was we created, just like you created Dan bot, we created a Ronsley bot with all the training that we had. And now the clients are going in, taking the training, breaking it down and going, how can I apply this to my business? And that is a game changer, especially for creatives trying to put their work out into the world, not knowing all the business elements. I was one of them. I had to fail in business so many times to understand all these different parts of business: recruitment, accounting, marketing, culture, operations. There's so many different elements that you could be the best chef on the planet, you could be the best lawyer on the planet, but if you don't have those business principles, it all fails. It doesn't become anything sustainable. Have you seen people thriving in this new world, or are most people kind of going, let's just wait to see how this develops?
The technology adoption curve, like the same thing's playing out right now, right? There's the early adopters like yourself and I that, we're early, we're playing with it, we're creating content, we're willing to accept the slow response times on GPT-4, whatever, right? It's early, we know it's early, we can assume it's going to get better. And then there's the late majority and then the laggards, and there's the crossing of the chasm. Like, they're the people that are thriving today, the Jasper AIs, Dave and those guys were coaching clients of mine, and many others like Daryl at FlexPay is another client of mine that I coach. They do this credit card decline technology that's all AI based, and they're absolutely crushing it. So I think, like I said, to me, entrepreneurs who embrace AI today, they will essentially shape the narratives of tomorrow, right? And they'll be the authors, not the readers. I think the people that are on the sidelines, they're just going to end up reading what the innovators are doing. And all of us, you included, we're going to shape the future. So, for example, I'm an investor and a business partner. I kind of incubated this product where we take all the coaching worksheets, right? So Ronsley, as you can
Yeah.
imagine, we've both been around the same people. Like, every program has like a teach and then a do. And the do is typically like some kind of fill in the blanks to get a result or to analyze your situation. Well, this company looks at the worksheet as almost like the output of the prompts. So what they've done for different, agency coaches, real estate coaches, and business coaches is they have a tooling that reverse engineers all of the worksheets into an initial prompt input. So essentially it's an interface where you answer, I think, 7 or 8 questions depending on your customer type, and then hit a button, and it dynamically generates every output of the worksheets inside of the program. We're talking hundreds of worksheets. It literally scans the worksheets, reverse engineers them, figures out what's the common denominators for the inputs, prompts the 7 to 10 questions on the front end, and then takes care of what you could arguably say easily is 100 hours worth of work to give the answers to all the worksheets. So then the client's executing and implementing, not ideating and creating. And I think that's just like the big idea. I think to the degree that whatever the output that we got to get to make a decision, if we can figure out how AI can help us get to that output on its own without us being involved based on either prompt engineering and or data sets, that's what we really want to do, because that's what our minds are designed for, right? Is discovering the insights in the information, not having to correlate all this information and not provide anything new. When I was writing the book, Buy Back Your Time, people always ask me, like, how do you see AI helping with book writing? I definitely think that there's an art. You can use an AI today to write a book. I don't know if it would be a Wall Street Journal bestseller because it's kind of like a good song. It's got to have an it factor, right? Like you can reverse engineer what it makes a good song, and Ed Sheeran's done a good job of saying it's these four chords and it's got this kind
Mhm.
of structure, etc. A song like Oliver Anthony's Richmond North of Richmond has to have a certain, je ne sais quoi. Like there's magic in it. And what I think is awesome is like I use Kindle to read most of the books I read, right? Since I've
Right.
always buy the hard copy for my libraries, but
Right.
I use Kindle and I highlight a lot. I
Mhm.
had it analyze my highlights to help me structure my book because I've read 500 books on productivity, time management, leadership, that kind of stuff. And for it to go through all that information, and it was this major data set I pulled off of Amazon, and then for it to extract the highlights, the insights, the quotes that made sense for the chapters once I had all those outlined. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I can always edit to create the magic after that, but to at least get the initial authoring of that, that's where AI shines.
Hey, AI geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI geeks by going to aigeeks.co/discord. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until then, much love.